Hello! Can you hear me? I assume so. Today a little bit early, so for the early birds we can have some pre Q&A discussion. Hello, Peter. Hello, Manuel. Can you hear me? Not just quite yet. Yes, we can hear you. Perfect. It's been quite I don't know how to say, not high tension in the terms of bad tension, but since about 10 days, maybe to 2 weeks, the community is quite... Everyone is expecting something to happen soon. I remember having that feeling towards the end of last year. I think it was around November, end of November or so. Do you feel that as well? Like many people falling for technical analysis and stuff. It's somehow the mood of the community has changed. What happened to 589? Nothing. I'm still... I mean, look, patty cakes, patty pie. Basically, I still believe the system would have been ready last year already. And the same thing which prevented the price to shoot last year is preventing it now. I mean, I've been talking many times about that. I'm 100% sure we're not waiting for regulation. So Gio, you feel that changed, I don't know, sensation in the community as well. It's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe some of you who follow me on Twitter might have read my tweet, which was, I don't know, someone last week when I tweeted that I had a very vivid dream that in about the week when I return to work I'd be able to cancel my contract because I'd have earned enough money for the rest of my life. And yeah, and it's kind of like this sensation many people seem to have right now. Raymond, you're one of my old followers. However, I do have a serious question for you guys. I mean, maybe you have seen those recent, I don't know how to call it, side wars between the Shane Ellis theory and not the Shane Ellis theory, which is basically Galvatron's theory. And I mean, in my perspective, Galvatron's theory is basically already not working. His arguments last year was, as soon as XRP goes live, we will see basically a slow but steady rise. Basically, we have seen a slow but steady fall, more or less, since then. I just talked to my wife when when we didn't have any red positions anymore. I think it was, I don't know, somewhere late October or so last year, when the price shot for a few minutes to 70, I don't know, 6 or so cents. That was at that time the moment when I had all my positions, or basically the average in green, not all my positions, but the average was in green. And since then, basically, the price has been falling. And I have been telling, and coming back to the question I have to you guys. I mean, you're my followers, and I have to turn off my iPhone. It keeps on bugging me with Siri. Hold on. Oh, shut. Coming back to the question I have for you guys. I mean, you're basically following me, I hope, because I apply some, I don't know, pretty good logic to the whole ecosystem, like markets, what value of transactions we will have, we will see what amount of total amount of transactions we may be able to see until the end of the year, 5 to 10% of SWIFT and such, and basically what I think what all that requires to have as a minimum value for XRP in order for the system to be working smoothly. Because one thing, I mean, I didn't really tell that very clearly, but you have something you have to understand when you think about all those things I'm talking, is the fact that such a system cannot, not one transaction can be stalled. Everything needs to go through. So liquidity must be, a guy used a word recently, ample. We need ample liquidity. And that means the price needs to be high enough, okay? But now finally the question. I mean, do you just trust me blindly, or do you really try to, because I usually in all my videos I also give sources, all my sources where I get my information from. Do you check that? Do you apply your own logic? Do you kind of try to challenge what I'm telling about what I think may happen? Do you challenge that with critical questions? I mean, I know Manuel, one guy who is here from Switzerland. He's the guy with whom I had before one of the streams where I was late after that. I think it was Thursday last week or so, where I was 5 or 10 minutes late, and I was like 3 hours on a phone call with Manuel, and I don't know, we talked through quite a lot of points in my, I don't know if it's to call theory or construct, the way I see what will happen. And I hope I could convince him good enough to continue and to build his faith into XRP. And that question, if you do challenge my logic and the kind of the request, please really challenge me in my live streams and such. I mean, I've been telling that not so many times, but once in a while, and literally little challenges. I mean, the there are some comments on my YouTube videos where people say it'll not happen. And then I tell them, that's not a challenge. Tell me why. Give me a reason to believe why I don't know, where I'm thinking into the wrong direction. Do I? John, you like my analysis. Gio thinks I'm realistic. Kevin. I will cover that later on. I will make a note, Kevin. My reasoning is good. So basically, okay, so about 5 or 10 people here, which are with me now or with us in the chat, think that my reasoning is okay. Let me wait a few seconds for my famous beginning at 8 o'clock, which should be just about. Come on. Let's get started. Thank you for joining me tonight. As the last few times, I didn't prepare anything. So let's check the questions you're having, and maybe while we're discussing that, I may put some of my thinking into that. So the first question I have been seeing was from Kevin Ramprasad. He asked, how do financial institutions transact using XRP so that we do not see the price of XRP move? That's not possible. I mean, if you think they move higher valued XRP, then I'd recommend watching. I think I threw that paper away once we moved to the house, but I had a video with a handmade 100 Swiss francs bill. I can exchange that with you, and you do some gardening in my garden, and I give you that paper, and when you want me to clean your garage or something, you give me the paper back, and we can grow that community. But my brother wouldn't accept that paper. He wants real money. So XRP will only be accepted in the whole wide world when it has roughly the same value. There is some differences on the exchanges, but there is not an XRP existing which has $1,000 worth, and other XRP, the ones we see, have just a few cents. That's just not the way it is. And coming back to your question, Kevin, so far we're only seeing low value payments. That's basically around that we're waiting for a high price, so that finally the high value transactions can begin to flow through the system. That's the whole point. Okay. Franjo TH, why banks don't make their own coin? Well, actually there are some banks which do have their own coin. There is JP Morgan, which will, I don't know if it's already out there or if they are just planning to bring the JPM coin. Basically, and then there is I think the other coin, I remember, is called Universal Settlement Coin, USC, I think. And I know that a Swiss bank, UBS, is part of that solution. But the problem with that is there is XRP is basically, you know, you don't need to trust anyone. With a JP Morgan coin, imagine JP Morgan sells you 5 million of that coin. In other words, you give them 5 millions and they give you the same amount of that coin, and they do that with 1,000 banks in the world, and then they say, okay, now we shut down the JPM coin. Then they have made billions and you have basically nothing. And with XRP that cannot simply not happen. And even when they have a coin and it needs to be backed somehow by dollar or by euro or whatever other, gold or something, which basically is a pain in the ass, and that's actually the nice thing about the XRP, that the value of XRP doesn't need to rely on a backing, on a collateral, so to speak, if I use that word properly. And another thing regarding bank issued coins, I mean, it'll require most likely a bridge asset anyway, because Bank of America doesn't want to hold JPM coins, and JPM doesn't want to hold Bank of America coins. I hope I answered properly that question. Hi Tim, back to Southern California. And now I'm going through the questions and comments. So I'm not followed blindly. You're followed because we all have seen the same information and facts. That's really the only unknown is the timeline. You have the best theory in the community. The worst is that people limit XRP to cross-border payments. I say it'll be all payments. Maybe, but actually as soon as we're on ILP, and that's basically the long-term vision from Ripple, to have Internet of Value based on ILP. And as long as we're, but I agree, Koji Morafo, that there will be more use cases. It'll not be just cross-border payments, it'll maybe also be streaming payments for, I don't know, Netflix and other services like that. Maybe even Apple might change, and other music delivering services might change their subscription methodology. Today, I think it was with Manuel, I don't remember who it was, but today I wrote to someone that micropayments will most likely require, will require content providers to change their subscription, or basically it'll not be subscription, it'll be consumption models, and they will need to rethink that totally. But it could be that in 5 years you hear music from any one of those content providers, and if you stop a song after 5 seconds, then you just pay those 5 seconds. Okay. XRP's right, Sandbox initiative doesn't show up as movement. If you are correct, but it's basically the same as in the example with the self-written 100 Swiss franc bill. I mean, I could do that here. 100 Swiss franc. I hope you can see it. 100 Swiss francs. That's the Sandbox. Would you accept that? I mean, it's really just for testing purposes. That XRP literally has no value. You can create an account on Sandbox and get 20,000 XRP. Every account you create gets 20,000 XRP. Hi RMP, we will talk tomorrow in German. RMP is our my guest, because he and me will be talking tomorrow at 8 o'clock in German only for my German followers. I think we owe it to them. Ralph, yes, I agree. I think we're waiting for SBI. Also Manuel wrote in German that he is trying to challenge me, but so far he couldn't kind of, I don't know, counter my arguments or attack my arguments. Basically, I have always an argument to found my logic. Yeah. Manuel has an interesting question, and basically digital asset investor has been bragging about that the past 12 months that the big money is coming in. Backed and Fidelity and all those other huge asset management funds, whatever. And what happened? Nothing. Backed had to move 2 or 3 times, and the other ones as well. Could be, I don't know, could be really related to this delay in XRP price shooting. I really don't know. I mean, for what one of the reasons why I mean, where is the big money? Basically, the banks have the big money. And banks are not allowed yet to hold any crypto, at least not in substantial sizes. And for that, we need regulation. But I repeat, in RippleNet, a sender doesn't need to hold XRP. So there is no regulation required. I hope that answered your question, Manuel. XRP warrior. That's a compliment. Yes, I'm pretty sure that we will see 15 to 20k by the end of the year. By the way, actually talking about price, I mean, I really hope all of my followers finally understood that market cap is a crap KPI. It's literally not applicable to cryptocurrencies, okay? That's one thing. And then on the other hand, there was a tweet going around recently that actually, let me ask you, I'd really like to know, how many more XRP exist than Bitcoins? Does someone know the answer? How many more XRP to the last thing divisible exist than Bitcoin? Kevin, realistic. Watch my other videos. I mean, I made a video where I stated $5,000. Maybe we are ending up at 3,500, but it'll be, I'm totally convinced once the price shoots, because the ecosystem of that, I'm 100% convinced, the superhighway is there. We do have more than 200 plus customers from Ripple. We have Temenos customers, we have Finastra customers with Pay Plus, we have Task Group, we have CGI, and we have other of those payment providers. And in the video I made about the superhighway, I showed that those 5 top system integrators, which actually serve banks and install software at the banks, they have, I don't know, between 60 and 80% of market share worldwide. Those 5 together, those top 5 I did a research upon, they have a total total amount of employees of 160,000. At Ripple at that time, I mean, had let's say 200 employees. Today it's more towards 500, but the 200 plus we reached basically by the end of last year. Okay, and at that time Ripple had somewhere around 300 employees. So if from those 5 companies just 1% of the employees takes care of RippleNet integrations, they have 1,600 people to work on that. It's like 5 times the workforce Ripple can offer. And on Ripple we know not 300 are working on integrations. It's maybe, I don't know, 50 or so. I mean, the others are taking care of other stuff, advertising, talking with regulators and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, let's stick with the figures. I usually like to stay conservative. Let's assume 300 employees at Ripple are working for more customers on RippleNet, and more than 1,500 from those other companies. So that's like 5 times more the power, okay, which would bring us easily to 1,000 customers on RippleNet. And 1,000 basically would be the proposed 10% I have been projecting in that other video, where my conclusion was that we maybe get to 5,000 by the end of the year. Javier Pomare, I don't know what the last resistance is. Okay, now. Okay, maybe my question wasn't totally good understood. Let me explain. As 1 Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million, also 8 zeros, and 1 XRP is only divisible by 1 million. We have a factor of 100. Incidentally, it'll be 5,000 times more, because we have 100 billion and 20 million. RMB writes it down. Well, actually in German it'll be billion and million in English. But because a Bitcoin is divisible 100 million times into Satoshis, my hand's a little bit more up, and the XRP only into a million times drops, the actual kind of accountable amount of XRP is only 50 times higher. And now tell me that XRP cannot have at least a value, I don't know, of $400. Even at 400, most scream, market cap won't work. It's totally stupid. See, Beist, and there was another guy talking about another bank. I don't remember which one. Don't remember. I'm not really looking or following too much anymore which other bank is on RippleNet and which will be using XRP or not, because first of all we just need one XRP installation per corridor since Xcurrent 4, thanks to multi-hop. I have told that over and over again, and I just explained that I am pretty sure that by the end of the year we will have, I don't know, between 1200 and 1500 banks on RippleNet. Those ones, those 200 plus customers are just the ones which go through Ripple directly. XRP Warrior, yes, they may use that, but as it won't affect the price, because the price needs to rise for those high value payments going through. Manuel is actually correct. He, same as the whole community, thinks that maybe in the next 3 months something is going to happen, and if not, even if we have to hold, it would piss me off quite a lot until 2020, but there will be a huge increase in price. Of that I'm sure, and I am sure it'll happen this year. XRP hard. After that, I mean, this paper going around from ECB, European Central Bank, that by November 21 there will be the Big Bang migration. I mean, I didn't see any word about XRP, and I didn't follow it up anyway too deeply, because as I said, I mean, I don't need to do any more research. For me it's clear, the roads are laid, that the train will run or the ship will sail. There is no turning back anyway. If there is every news you hear about additional banks, additional corridors, additional, I don't know, already today real-time gross settlement systems like TIPS or Target 2, that'll just increase the price. Zigzag, yes, you're right, 50 billion of XRP are in escrow, but on the other hand, if I'm right, from Bitcoin there is so far, I think, only about 17 million out, and we made the calculation anyway with 21. So forget about escrow, because not all Bitcoins do exist yet. That's actually anyway something interesting. Does anyone know how much longer Bitcoin can exist? I mean, what will happen once the total supply has been created, those 21 millions? Will it then just stop? Or will they upgrade the software? Or what will happen? I haven't seen someone being able to answer that question to me. Maybe it'll take quite some time, a few years, I really don't know. Flux Arcasia. I don't think so that we will see $100 in 21. I think we will see 10,000 or more in 21. Okay, now I have a topic I really want to talk to you about. and by what the daily volume will be. Well, at 10% by the end of this year, if they really reach that, it'll be 500 billion. 500 billion. Alex Hero, we may go in steps, not directly to 500 or 2000. Might be some steps in between. That I really don't know. $10,000 or more, yes, by 21. Okay, so now I have gone through all the questions. If there was an important one I missed, please mark me. I think you need to put the @ sign in front of my name, but as my name has a space, I don't know. R&B, how do you mark? Can you explain how you mark my name in your comment? Because I tried that on someone else's live chat, and because there was a space. I tried to do it with my wife in one of the last live streams and it didn't work, but maybe it only works from me and not when I address you. That could be the reason. Anyway, let me recap my thought, and I wanted to tell you about, but now I lost what I wanted to tell because I was answering those questions. Damn it, what was it? It was something really... Damn it! Let me recap. Adoption, escrow, big picture, high price, daily volume, transaction fees. Damn it! I totally forgot what I wanted to tell you. It was about... Let me go through that again. Maybe it'll call daily volume. No, I don't think it was about volume. It was something about the ecosystem in general. I don't remember, but I try to remember, and if I remember, I cover it next Thursday. Try to remember the important thing I wanted to talk about. Damn it, I'm so sorry. I was talking about... Doesn't leave me alone now. I have to let it go. I was talking about... I think it was something on Twitter being talked about. And something many people actually failed to see. Burning rate. No, it wasn't regarding burning rate. It was something about the ecosystem. Maybe when I was talking about that there are just 50 times more XRP. I really don't remember. Never mind. You're a smart guy, but test ball. You're right, but maybe you're wrong. I am pretty sure those ones in the know. I mean, I had with that guy, I had a German interview, a recorded German interview recently. Moino, Lars from Bremen. I had a call, I think it was yesterday evening, and he was actually talking about something quite interesting. And let me talk about that quickly. And I think that thing I wanted to tell you was actually also about something Lars told me yesterday. Maybe I recall it once I talk about that, what I'm about to talk about now. And he basically told me in US, and basically it's all around the world, but US is really very strict. Let's assume you're a company owner, then you go public, you offer shares and you buy and you, I don't know, issue 50 or 70% of the shares to yourself for nothing, and you only sell 30%. Now, in case your company is not doing well, and you know that before you have to publish your financial yearly report, you're not allowed as owner, and also all the other very important people are not allowed to short the stock or to sell the stock once it's still high, because once you drop the bad news, the price will drop. That's not allowed, and you will have high problems. And maybe that's the same thing which is being applied here. I mean, sure, every Ripple employee will be able to buy certain amount of XRP, but those really in the know what will happen, I'm pretty sure they will not be allowed to buy millions and millions. There is definitely limitations on that, and the same holds true for all those core banks which will I mean, basically those core banks from the system, most likely those, I think it's about 8 banks in the global payment steering committee, the kind of the steering committee for RippleNet. Have you ever thought about why it's called global payment? I mean, why didn't they call it RippleNet steering committee? Why is it called global payment? Interesting, huh? However, it's about 8 banks there, and most likely the top, the tier 1, maybe tier 2 banks which are on RippleNet for sure, those ones are involved, and I'm pretty sure we'll know what price XRP will eventually have. And all those people knowing that, I'm pretty sure they will have quite severe restrictions on basically buying. Pablo Diablo, thanks for the dog thing. Now let me scroll down. 6 check, no, well, I think they tried last year, but they kind of failed to get the retail investors out. No English to me. I think the boom, the initiator of those price increases will actually be triggered from Asia. I don't think that they're held back. I mean, even with SBI, some say Japan needs regulation, but just the other day was a new, I think it was a daughter company from Yahoo announced, which is creating an exchange, I think in Japan. I mean, how could they do that if it's not regulated? I mean, they have exchanges there, so that cannot really not be the problem. XRP hard. Well, did I, regarding my dream, did I? My dream was that right now I'm having a time off of work, but once I'm back, and that'll be around 10th of June, my dream was in the week I'm returning back to work, I'll be handling my I don't know, resignation, cancellation, because I will be that rich already for not requiring a job anymore. Manuel, ich erkläre dir das in Telegram, warum es 50 mal mehr XRP wie Bitcoin gibt. XRP hard, no, Escrow is Escrow, and it'll be $1 billion every month, which can come loose. Could be that, I don't know, top 50 players get every month 20 million XRP. That could be, in such a term, could be, but it'll not be 1 month Bank of America, next month JP Morgan, and next month Wells Fargo. It'll not be like that. And I mean, in the end, I'm believing that those members from the Global Payment Steering Group, those 8 banks, are in the say whom receives what amount at which price of the XRP and Escrow. Kevin Ramprasad, I don't think so, but surely they will. Kevin is asking, actually, did I answer your first question regarding why do we not see transactioning with XRP happening? Your first question was regarding that, and I think low value transactions do happen. High value transactions require higher price. And I think I answered that, because there was a side question on that from someone, if there could be XRP with a higher price somewhere, and I denied that because it's simply not working like that. And just today I was researching the thing about Chad McCaleb, I guess it's the guy's name, the former Ripple founder, which left Ripple. Does someone know when he left Ripple? Because in that article I found today, I read in the first year he can sell 0.5% of XRP of the trading average. In the second year, 0.75% of the trading average volume. In the third year, I think it's 1%. And then 1.5%, and it'll be 1.5% going along. So, and I even tweeted that, and no one basically gave an answer so far when Chad left. But with 0.5% of the daily trading volume, you cannot influence the price. It's just, I mean, once the price is high, you get rich. But it'll be not so many people, and trust me, if and I told that before quickly, if we are going in 3 or 4 steps, 60% of the hodlers will sell below $100. They will be happy that it'll got there after about almost 2 years of waiting. The group of people who think it'll go way higher is very, 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 very small. No, Dylan, I didn't share that screenshot because I don't know if it's a good idea, but basically I think I shared it with 2 people, and in direct messages and that, but those two people I trust. I know them a little bit better because I'm in constant contact with them, and I ask them not to share it. But basically Shane said that Swift is using Ripple technology. That was the tweet about, and in the same tweet he was actually telling that SAP is using the same message format as Swift, is MT103, and in the discussion I had with Lars yesterday, he even thinks that that's the reason, because XRP or RippleNet as such, ILP, I think is also based on this MT103, and maybe that's the reason why Swift finally changed it, but that we don't know. But it's really of not important, because as I said, the ecosystem is big enough already. Don't worry, really don't worry. Your opinion on the strange buy and sell we saw already on the ledger. RMB, did we? Well, are you referring? RMB is asking me about XRP being in the 3 digits. Are you referring to those spikes we have seen on those Asian? I don't remember if it was Japanese exchange or Tokyo exchange or something, on the XRP charts. But when you check those spikes, I think it was, at least when last year, that had happened a few times, 2 or 3 times. That was basically the time when Sam IM started this stupid private XRP ledger theory, because he couldn't find an explanation why we had such a spike on one exchange and another reflect on other exchanges. And his basically explanation was, there is a private XRP ledger with high price, and one transaction for whatever reason was visible on the public ledger, so to speak. But if you look closely at that transaction, it was literally, I think I checked it, and it was less than half an XRP being traded, which basically, I think it was 0.0, maybe even 201 XRP. So the price went to 3 digits, $468 or something, but because the amount being exchanged was, I think it was, I don't know, $5 or something, literally no influence on the other charts. That's why we didn't see that. I hope that satisfies your question, RMB. But maybe we can talk about that tomorrow in the German chat another time. Yes, Ralph, I'm pretty sure that if Shane Ellis is not about to start first, if we have those steps, we may see 10, 30, 50, 70, 100, I don't know, 3-4 steps until we reach high 3 digit or lower 4 digit values. Flux, Akasha. Yes, it is possible. 1 XRP. Please watch my videos about market cap debunk. I mean, basically, market cap has no... I recently made a video with an old sock and a croissant. That's basically explaining it. I showed a sock I'm selling for, I don't know, I put the figure out there for like 10 times the amount of total value which exists in the world. So that makes me the richest person, no? Well, some may argue, if there is a market for that sock, yes, but there is no market. Who wants to buy a used old sock for that amount of money? No one. And then as a counter argument to that argument, I said, well, the bakery store also throws every day 10-15% of the croissants away which aren't being sold and cannot be sold anymore the next day. But that also doesn't influence the price. Someone told me it's a bit weak comparison, but sometimes, I mean, I know some of my images are a bit simple, a bit oversimplified, but I do that so that you kind of can grasp the concept you need to start thinking in. King, I have answered that question over and over again. Gaurav, I mean, exit strategy and also buy strategy, it really depends on you. I mean, most people are happy when they make 15% of profit per year. So go and buy XRP at $100. I'm sure there will come a time when you make those 15% profit. I want to get freaking rich. I may not buy at $100 anymore, because I want to not just make 15%, I want to make 150,000% or more. That's what I'm looking for. Interesting question, Toretit, regarding quant overledger. I think either with Richard, who will be on the German live stream tomorrow, or with Lars, I was talking about quant overledger. And I dug a little bit into it, but I really don't see it as a threat to XRP. Maybe it may help if it's something similar as ILP, but just for DLTs, like somehow a technology to bridge stuff. It'll still need a coin to bridge, and XRP would still be the best coin to bridge that. Video is lagging. Oh yes. Live stream. Mayday. Croissants are like dollars. How will they? Tim, I think IMF will not use XRP. Maybe I told that, I think, in my last live stream. 100% guaranteed XRP will not play a role in SDR directly. First of all, because Christine Lagarde told that officially. A currency used in SDR has to be used as official currency in a country. And then, I don't know, I think it was even Brad Garlinghouse who tweeted or told somewhere that in countries with high inflation, the people put their money into crypto assets. That's correct, but then the people got that basically wrong and thought, maybe there is, I don't know, Argentina or whatever other country with really high inflation, that they may accept cryptocurrency as official currency. But trust me, they won't. So it's not part of the game. But where I see Play XRP having a role is actually moving those values from the SDR. I mean, basically, IMF holds the value from this asset. I mean, they receive that in some bank account, and then they need to transact that to the country, Greece or whatever other country. And in that process, XRP will definitely have its role. Ralph Raymond, well, Ripple is over and over donating XRP to charity, and I'm pretty sure we're not hearing all of those donations, but the more interesting ones we definitely hear. Last year I remember we had like 4 or 5 charities where quite a substantial amount of XRP was donated. I'm here, can you not hear me anymore? Went to the moon, he's taking a nap. So let me write. I then call this a day. I will play my music. Oh no, I'm talking. Go and watch the rest on the video thereafter. I was with you, but somehow stream got stuck. Have a nice evening all, and as always, thanks for your confidence and trust. Take care.